You know, whenever you pay your taxes, do you ever stop and wonder where that money actually goes? And maybe more importantly, who's making sure it isn't being wasted? It's a totally fair question. And the answer? Well, it's not a single person, but a really powerful system with two key guardians watching over our public funds. I mean, this is the core question, right? We all chip in, we all pay our share. But how do we know our money is being put to good use? How can we be sure everything is on the up and up when there's such a huge distance between us and the people spending it? Well, the answer isn't a person, it's a process. It's called public sector auditing. And you can kind of think of it like a regular inspection of the engine that runs our government, just to make sure everything's running smoothly and efficiently. It's really the bedrock of good governments. Now, take a look at the words on this slide, because independent and objective are absolutely crucial here. See, auditing isn't just about crunching numbers. It's about getting an unbiased, impartial verdict on how our money is actually being managed. Okay, so let's meet the first of our two guardians. This is the one who works from the inside, kind of like an organization's own private investigator and health checker. Let's get to know internal audit. So right away, you might be thinking, hang on, how can they be independent if they work for the organization? And that's a great question. It's their biggest challenge and the very core of their role. Their professional duty is to give an objective view, to add value by helping management fix problems before they blow up into public scandals. So what are they doing day to day? Well, they're looking at all the internal systems, the controls, to spot any weaknesses. They're checking to see if people are actually following the rules, looking for any red flags that might point to fraud, and basically acting as a critical friend to management, helping them run a tighter ship. It's all about being proactive and preventive. So here's the bottom line. Internal audit's mission is all about self-improvement. You can think of them as the immune system of a public organization, finding and fixing issues internally to keep the whole thing healthy and running well. All right, so that's our insider. Now let's bring in our second guardian. This is the one most of us have probably heard of, the independent outsider, the public's watchdog. This is external audit. The huge difference is right there in the name, external. These auditors are total outsiders. They're often led by an auditor general, a role that's so important it's usually protected by the Constitution itself, just to guarantee their independence. Their loyalty isn't to the government department they're auditing, it's to us, the public, and our elected representatives. And you can see that in their objectives. They aren't just advising, they are verifying. They check if the official financial reports are true and fair, if laws were followed, and, this is a big one, if the public actually got value for their money. And their findings? They're not some private memo for a manager. They are public reports for all of us to see. Now check this out, because this slide shows you the real power of an external audit. That report doesn't just get buried in a filing cabinet. Nope. It goes straight to the top, to the head of state and to Parliament. Then, a special group of lawmakers called the Public Accounts Committee gets it, and they grill public officials on the findings, demanding answers and action. That is what public accountability looks like in practice. So if internal audit is all about strengthening from the inside, external audit is about giving that impartial, independent verdict that we all need to have trust in the system. They're the ones who tell us, and our leaders, whether our money has been managed properly. Okay, so we've got the inside investigator and the public watchdog. They have really different methods, different audiences, but at the end of the day, they're working towards the exact same goal. So let's put them side by side to really see how they tick. Here's probably the simplest way to look at it. Internal audit is there to help management get things right, and they report up the internal chain of command. External audit is there to check if they got it right, and they report outwards to Parliament and to all of us. It all comes down to who you're working for. This table really breaks it all down, doesn't it? I mean, look at the frequency. Internal audit is this continuous health monitor running all the time, while the external audit is more like a big annual checkup. And check out who reads the reports. Internal audit reports, they're for management size. External audit reports, they're for everybody, the public, the media, and our elected officials. So, with these two really distinct roles, you might think they'd be at odds with each other, right? But the reality is actually way more powerful. The whole system is designed for them to work together as an alliance, creating this comprehensive web of accountability. And this is probably the most important takeaway from all of this. They are not in conflict. A strong internal audit team actually makes the external auditor's job easier and more effective. They're really just two sides of the same accountability coin. You can see that partnership right here. Their roles just fit together perfectly. Think of it this way. A really strong internal audit team is like having a car that's been perfectly maintained all year. When the external auditor shows up for their annual inspection, they can see the car is already in great shape, which gives them more confidence and lets them focus on the most critical, big picture stuff. And at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. This dual system, with one guardian looking inward and one guardian looking outward, is designed to build the two most important things you can have in public service: integrity in how money is managed, and trust from the people who provide that money in the first place. So that leaves us with a pretty interesting thought, doesn't it? This whole dual guardian model, an internal check paired with an independent external verdict, is incredibly powerful. So where else in our society, from the companies we invest in to the institutions we rely on every day, is this kind of partnership absolutely essential for building and maintaining our trust?